never ceases to surprise me, the fact that there's always so much media to consume. I mean, just when I think I've had my fill of shows on Netflix, for instance, I hear about this strange show with a weird name and get pulled right back in. The show I'm talking about, by the way, is the British dark comedy drama, The End of the World. Yeah, that's the show's name. Told you it was weird. Anyways, based on the graphic novel The End of the World by Charles S. Foreman, the show follows the relationship of two teens named James and Alyssa. James is a quiet 17-year-old who believes himself to be a psychopath. And honestly, based on how emotionless he is and the fact that he kills animals as a hobby, he kinda has the right idea about himself. Alyssa, on the other hand, is snarky, opinionated, and a rebellious spirit who always says what's on her mind. As for what brings these two together, well, for whatever reason, Alyssa sees something special in James. Though the boy is clearly awkward and has an aloof aura to him, Alyssa sees in him a chance to escape from her disastrous home life. James, on the other hand, having grown tired of killing animals, thinks that perhaps killing a human could be interesting and therefore agrees to date Alyssa as she could be a good target. And so, the two start what has got to be one of the strangest relationships ever. Oh, and if that wasn't interesting enough of a premise for you, after only like a day or so of dating, Alyssa proposes they run away together, thereby setting the stage for a road trip across England full of all sorts of mishaps. As strange as the whole thing may sound, the show has so far been receiving high praise from critics and fans alike. I can see why, as the show is a very well put together little series. For one, the performances by the two main actors is great, and watching the way they portray their characters while interacting with one another is a whole lot of fun. If you couldn't tell from my description earlier, the two main characters are meant to be this pair of strange teens that don't really seem to make sense as a couple, but as you watch the show, they have this strange chemistry between them, and the way they bounce off of one another just works. Another thing that works is the dark comedy aspect. The show doesn't shy away when it comes to its subject matter, and I feel like that helps it keep a certain identity. I mean, watching the awkward James disappointingly decide that killing Alyssa in the woods after they crashed his dad's car would be too obvious was both hilarious and definitely works as a moment that helps the show stand out. Finally, another thing that the show has going for it is how short and easy to get through it is. While other Netflix shows are usually around an hour long, each episode of The End of the World is around only 20 minutes. Add to that the fact that there are only 8 episodes and you have yourself an easy afternoon binge. Now, on the flip side of that, we have the negatives. When it comes to the show, one thing that I can think of is that the show may be a little too British for some people. By that I mean that the accent, slang, and dry wit may turn some viewers off, Americans, because it is not the kind of thing they're used to watching on TV. The other thing is the subject matter. The show dives into some pretty heavy stuff like depression, death, murder, rape, trauma, and abuse, any of which could be a bit too much for some viewers. However, all in all, I really enjoyed the show and got some really good laughs out of it. I think that if you aren't sensitive to the subject matter and enjoy some good old dark humor, the show could be a great recommendation for you. And hey, with it being such a quick watch, why not go and get started on it right now? But hey, that's just my opinion. And remember, don't take anything I say too seriously. After all, I'm just a wannabe reviewer. Thanks for watching.